So, my plan for today is to try and read Kingdom of Ash in 24 hours. I think it's doable. When Silver Flames came out in February, I managed to read it in a span of 24 hours. And I think it's of comparable length, so it feels like something I can do. But I guess it all depends on if I can actually focus for that long. And already my day's going a little bit different than I expected. As you can see, I've managed to replace Gay Santa, which I am so happy about because I was absolutely devastated when the previous one smashed yesterday. And also I found out that Waterstones has got 50% off hardbacks in store only at the moment. And the other night I listened to A Song for the Wild Bill and I loved it so much that I wanted a copy, but it's like novella length, but is, well, I think this is an import because the prices aren't in UK money. But basically you're looking about £18 for it, even though it is novella length. So the fact that it's 50% off means that, I was able to get it for a bit more of a sensible price. It is just the absolute sweetest book and it is so affirming and just beautiful. And then because I'm me, I couldn't just get one book. So I ended up getting The Cats of the Louvre, which is a manga that I've had my eye on for a little while. I also got Wake, which I've heard amazing things about. The Appeal, which again, I've heard really good things about. And also this is a really beautiful edition. So I kind of couldn't resist. Medusa, which is a book that I've had my eye on since before it came out. I've read some of Jessie Burton's other works, and whilst I haven't adored them, I have enjoyed them. And also, look at that beautiful naked hardback. And then that is the reverse. And you also have beautiful end papers. So I think it's going to be a real treasure to read. And finally, we have the Waterstones exclusive edition of Reprieve with these really cool, I don't know if you can see it in this lighting, but it really does look like blood. It's got an ombre to it, like you'd expect with actual blood drops. And again, I've heard really good things about it. I'm very intrigued by the kind of escape room murder mystery setup. And now I think I need to stop buying books because I've bought quite a few in the past few days. I am going on a book buying ban in the new year, but that shouldn't be an excuse for me to just buy all the books right now. So, plan for the day, I'm going to get some lunch because it's about 2:00 now and I haven't eaten yet today. And then I am going to get on with Kingdom of Ash and I will check in at intervals to kind of update you. I will say up front, this is going to be a spoilery vlog because Kingdom of Ash is obviously the last book in the Throne of Glass series. So spoilers for the previous books in the Throne of Glass series, but also spoilers for Kingdom of Ash. So at the start of Kingdom of Ash, Aelin has been taken prisoner by Maeve, and Lysandra has basically agreed that she is going to shapeshift to look like Aelin, so no one knows that Aelin has been kidnapped or taken prisoner, whatever you want to say. Kale is just coming back from the southern continent, having been healed, and he's, Nesrin's managed to find someone she loves there, and Kale's fallen for Urine Towers, the woman that healed him on the southern continent, and they're coming with an army of rocks. And it's all kind of up in the air. I did find it a bit annoying that, like, I didn't dislike Tower of Dawn, but it was so frustrating. The massive cliffhanger at the end of Empire of Storms, where Aelin's just been taken by Maeve, and then you've got to read a whole other book before they even continue that storyline. I just found that so annoying. But I do think it brought a lot of the elements together and in a really smooth way, and it had some really cool callbacks. I just felt like it would have been better to have merged Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn together and have it like jump back and forth, because it's done it in other books. I'm not sure why the two were split out, and I feel like he probably could have merged them into one book and then broken that down into two, if that makes sense. And it would have made for a more enjoyable reading experience. But now I'm just excited to see how it all resolves. So I've just popped the audiobook on whilst I tried to figure out the ranking for all the books that I've read so far this year, because I figure I've probably only got a handful more books to finish this year, so I can probably do this. I'm finding the book I'm finding it a little bit slow, and I'm also having a little bit of trouble remembering who's who. Like, obviously I remember who Manon is and Dorian and like all the main characters, but it's when they mention side characters that I'm like, I don't remember who you are. As I say, it's feeling really slow. The fact that you're following multiple perspectives is like, I don't have any strong feelings one way or another about multiple perspectives, but it does make the story feel a lot longer, because obviously you're having to follow three. Is it 3 or is it 4? Like, you're having to follow all these different people doing all their little quests, and I'm fairly sure they'll all come together in the end. But right now I'm like, I just want to stick to one thing and get one thing resolved. But instead we're getting like a bit here, a bit there. I also think though that I need a nap. Like, it's so bad. I've only been up for maybe 7 hours, but I'm just feeling really tired. But I think part of that's the cold. I get this really weird urge when I'm really cold to just hibernate. So I think what I'm probably going to do is put the heating on and move to the bedroom, because that's a warmer room. And if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. And if I don't, at least I'll be warm and reading for a bit. So my nap ended up being a bit longer than I planned, but it's not the worst. Clearly I needed a good nap. And I was slightly falling asleep listening to the audiobook before, so I will have to have a quick flick through and see if I've taken in everything as I was kind of drifting in and out and not realising. But when I put it on just now, it sounds like it's rehashing stuff that happened at the end of Empire of Storms, which is really weird. Like, this book is chunky enough as it is without you rehashing the bit that I remember. Like, Maeve, I think that's the one. I can't remember, I forget, because it's one of these where like the 3 fairies have got the same starting letter or something. I think it's Maeve, the like evil antagonist. Like, she's talking about how she's actually one of the Valg, and something about like coming over and being like, oh, this is the first time I saw green. I didn't know green existed. And I'm just like, I am sure she told this exact same story at the end of Empire of Storms, And maybe I'm missing the context that explains why she's like going over this story again. But I'm a bit like, ugh, I just want this story to progress. It's feeling really slow. Like, I'm sure so far you think I'm hating it. I don't really actually have strong feelings one way or another. And I think I just need to get stuck in. I'm thinking I'm probably not going to finish it in the 24-hour window, given like that I had a chunk of sleep, but I'm still going to try. Wow, I've just gotten to the end of chapter 35 and they figured out that Aelin is not only like the heir of the throne of Tarasan, although like obviously that's complicated with the whole like birth doesn't mean you're naturally the heir. If you're watching this, obviously you've read the other books. But basically, like, Aelin's just been freed and, like, they're trying to figure out why the, like, forest spirity things are helping. And then they've just dug out the crown that Maeve put on her head when she was torturing her and basically figured out that Aelin is also the heir of Mab, which, like, obviously she knew she was descended from Mab. And like Maeve had alluded to the fact that like Mab's line ran true. But basically they figured out that like she's the rightful queen of that line. I don't know. I find even though I'm on the final book in the series, I find it a little bit difficult to kind of keep track of the family lines, but also keep track of like how fairies work in this world. Like, I feel like there needs to be a book just explaining how it all works and pieces together.
It's time to turn up the fire. Let me take you on a ride. We aiming straight to the sky. Spread your wings and fly.
So I've been thinking about the moment where like Maeve was telling Aelin that she was Valg, and I've just realised that I was getting confused, and you don't realise that Maeve is one of the Valg in Empire of Storms. I think I forgot that it was actually Kale and Nesta that found out that. Was it just Nesta? Though it was Nesta and the prince, which I can't remember the name of the prince, found out about the whole, like, the spiders are Valg and Maeve's one of the Valg and Maeve's not a fairy. But I was getting really confused because I thought that she'd revealed her identity at the end of Empire of Storms, so that makes a bit more sense to me now. I guess I'm gonna power on and read more of this book because I am really intrigued now. It's a bit of a shame that it's taken so long to start really capturing my interest. Like, I'm on chapter 35, but I think part of that is just me like forgetting what hasn't happened. Like, I forget that not all the characters have all of the information right now.
It's time to turn up the fire. Let me take you on a ride. We aiming straight to the sky. Spread your wings and fly. Time to turn it up right now. Time to turn it up. Time to turn it up right now. Time to turn it up. Time to turn it up right now. Time to turn it up. Time to turn it up right now.
think I was probably a little bit optimistic, thinking that I could read this book in one day. I think if I'd focused / been reading non-stop for 24 hours, I probably could have read it in a day. But because I went for a nap and have kind of been editing and stuff, basically not reading constantly for the past day, it's not going to be finished in the 24 hours. I'm still going to try and finish it before the end of today, because I think that would be good. Because I think having read it in like 36 hours still isn't too bad, and it'll still mean that I will have read it like before the end of the year, which was kind of the primary goal. Right now I'm making pancakes because obviously I'm reading for hours. I am about halfway through now, so I've just gotten to the point where like Manon has put on the crown that the Blue Bloods, I can't remember what they're called, but the clan that wore like the spiky crown, she's just put on herself and it started glowing, and her great grandmother's like, no, you're the queen, and she's been crowned Queen of the Witches and basically united the Blackbeak and Croatian, I don't know how it's pronounced, clans together, which is pretty cool. I'm just such a sucker for powerful moments like that. I do think the story is moving a little bit slower than I would have liked, especially for such a long book. I think it's quite difficult to... What am I trying to say? I think when a book is that long, you want to feel like it's really obvious why is so long, and right now it just feels like it could have moved a bit quicker and it would have been a shorter book. I mean, it could also be that I'm just not in quite the mood for Sarah J Maas. Again, as I said earlier in this vlog, I'm not hating it. I'm not wowed by it, but also, you know, the way these kind of books work, like any story really, is you have like the big impactful moments come towards the end. Now I'm hoping there's kind of, I don't know if there'll be an epilogue, but you know, the kind of happily ever after, you get to see these characters like after the big battle type thing. I like that. I like seeing the aftermath. I don't know if there will be an aftermath, but I'm hoping we get to see that. Ooh, that's my spoon gone. Yeah, so I'm hoping that it isn't like you get to the final battle and then like they win and then that's it. Like, I would like to feel as if it's very nicely wrapped up. Like right now I'm hating the decisions that Aiden's made. It kind of feels like SJM's done her classic of destroying a character, the story arc, because she doesn't like the pairing. Although I'm fairly sure I've seen that Aiden and Lysandra end up together. But also I kind of like Lysandra with Nox. I don't know, the way that Nox is narrated in the audiobook just makes him so lovable. But also I just think the way that Aiden's treating Lysandra, like, she deserves so much more than, you know, how he has decided to treat her over it all. But I guess I'll check back in a little bit later and let you know my thoughts.
I feel so out of order. My brain is hazy. The shadows in the corner, they make me crazy.
So there was like a chapter where you think Lorcan's dead, and I'm like, no, don't kill off Lorcan. He's basically the best character in the book. And then Elite is like just riding across the plains on Kale's horse that he called Hella's horse, and he's like, there's a reason, it's the fates, and it's so powerful, and I love it. And obviously I don't know if Lorcan's gonna survive. I presume so, because she found him in time, but I'm enjoying it so much now. I think it's really picked up, and yeah, it's turning out to be a really great read.
All my ghosts came back to life. Every whisper, every lie. It's a restless emptiness. I can't deny I'm anxious.
Oh, little did I know that chapter 61 is when Aelin unleashes her power that she's been digging down into for 3 months, and she just makes this massive wave of water disappear, and it's just as you think Elide and Lorcan are gonna die, and it's so good. And I live for moments like that. I love these big powerful moments. Oh, it makes me so happy. I'm such a sucker for the big moments. Like, Manon's just arrived in Terrasan with the whole host of the Crocants, and it's just, it's so powerful. I love moments like this. It just makes me so happy. Like, Manon deserves the world, and honestly, like, Manon should have been the main character. She is so amazing, and her character arc is just absolutely fantastic. I am finding the book a little bit slow in places, but the big powerful moments are just really getting me in just everything I would hope for. I've got to think about around about 300 pages left, but I think I'm making decent progress. If I can get it finished by midnight, I think I'll be happy. Doing that will have taken me less than 36 hours, which I don't think is too bad, to be honest, especially given that I am quite a slow reader. The 13 just yielded. Obviously, Manon didn't, but every other member of the 13 just yielded. What? And there's like another 200 pages to go. They spoke. What? I'm kind of shocked. So, Dorian and Aelin have just done the thing where they try to create the lock, and they've just met Dorian's father, and he's saying, I'll do it, nameless is the price. And he's going, and they're like, but you weren't chosen. Yeah, but what's my name? And like, surely we did know his name, right? Has it been one of those weird things where we've just not noticed that we didn't know the king's name? I'm doubting myself. Because obviously I can't remember the king's name. But surely he had a name, right? But now I'm thinking about it, he was literally always just referred to as the King of Adelan. Right? I don't know. This is kind of blowing my mind, actually. It's now 9:35, so I'm going to say that it took me 31-ish hours to read Kingdom of Ash, which I don't think is too bad, especially because I had a nap yesterday. Right now I think I need to go for a bit of a sleep because I have been awake for a good chunk of time, and I will come back with more thoughts later, but I will say that it was a really satisfying conclusion to the story. And now I need to see if I can read Catwoman before the end of the year, so I can actually have read all of Sarah J Maas's books this year, which was never my intention. I didn't set out to do it, but I am literally just missing Catwoman, Soul Stealer, and then I will have read every book. So yeah, more thoughts later, but now I need a nap. So I've now slept and obviously had a bit of time to have a think about Kingdom of Ash. I don't think I've got much more to actually add to my thoughts that I had when I just finished it, apart from the fact that I know this isn't something that everyone agrees on, but I feel like books that have a big battle in, when you don't have major characters dying off, it feels like they're doing the reader a disservice. And fair enough, all of the 13 except Manon dies and Gabriel dies, but then you've got like Kale and Irene are fine, Aelin and Rowan are fine, Manon and Dorian are fine, Lysandra and Aiden are fine. Like, all these people end up fine in the end. And it's like, this is this big battle. It's been going on for 8 books and suddenly like everyone's just fine. Like, I know they're gonna be like suffering from trauma, etc., but they've all survived, and unless I miss something, apart from Dorian and Aelin not being as powerful anymore, and obviously like Aelin's now immortal or something, I don't know. I've said that I don't really understand the fairy lore in these books, but basically like everyone's come out unscathed as well. But like, I still very much enjoyed the story. I do think it could have done with some editing to be a bit shorter because it did drag in places, but I will definitely be rereading in the future. It gives me the same kind of comforting feelings that I've come to know Sarah J Maas for. And really that's it. So thank you for joining me on this journey to finish it in what took like under 36 hours. It was meant to be a day. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
there's a place